Welcome to the Happiness Matters podcast, where we'll explore happiness at work and show you how to coach yourself to be happier there and more successful too, no matter what.
Welcome everyone, I'm Julia Seal and this is a follow-on from our previous insight sessions from the Smile and Laughter episodes. All these episodes have been about Series 1, questioning how we define, assess and vision your happiness and success at work. This week is no different. It is still part of our defining, assessing and visioning journey together, but I'm introducing a new coaching tool to show you where your focus might be when we consider coaching as transformation. This is a big topic, so I've split it into 2 episodes, this one and next week, 1.13. Not only will this show you where your transformational coaching topic might be, but the more we dig down into what's really stopping your happiness and success, what's getting in your way, the better able we can ease where you are right now and then shed light on the coaching that's going to make the most difference. So we're back to the topic of coaching as transformation. You'll remember that we talked about coaching as transformation towards the end of our Series 1 coaching. In episode 1.5, we spoke about the journey of change that coaching is, using the adventures of Odysseus and Harry Potter to illustrate the happiness traps and obstacles you might find along the way. Then we mapped out the path of your journey by using your obstacles as stepping stones to your success. And then in episode 1.6, we looked into why change is hard and the bigger questions of what might lead to your long-term sustainable happiness and success, taking us to a discussion of coaching as an opportunity for your real transformation and not just a short-term fix. The coaching tool I introduced this week will build on the questions we raised about the areas of transformation. How are you using buffering in your life? Are you putting your life on hold for these buffers? Where does your center of power for change lie? Additionally, using this coaching tool will enable us to have a look at the kind of thoughts that are involved in these areas, the thoughts that might be holding you back, your biggest obstacles. This might not be comfortable work. As I said, we're learning how to coach ourselves even at the start of this journey, even in Series 1, defining, assessing and visioning. I will support your discoveries over the next few sessions in 2 ways. I'm going to do a Q&A episode for you, and then I'm going to offer you some once-off coaching sessions to walk through the coaching tool I introduced in this episode and further tools coming up. You can book these once-off sessions on our website, Happiness-Matters.coach, by clicking on the yellow button, Coach with Julia. You'll be able to schedule and pay for your session online. I encourage you to listen to episodes 1.5 and 1.6, particularly 1.6 on the coaching as transformation topic and your future self journey. If you have already subscribed to our podcast, then this will be easy for you as they'll already be loaded in your podcast player. If you're not subscribed, or if this is the first time you're listening to the Happiness Matters podcast, you can find them all on our website, Happiness-Matters.coach. You'll also find the show notes and useful links for each episode, as well as the coaching tools to go with Series 1. If you are new to podcasting and haven't set yourself up, we have a really useful How to Start article that my husband Fraser has written for you, and you'll find that also on our website. Now that we've reminded ourselves about coaching as transformation, I want to go back to the coaching hack I offered you in the last 2 sessions, the one on the human smile and the one about laughter. Do you remember I suggested you try the concept of fake it till you make it, so to smile and to laugh on purpose. I suggest doing this very intentionally in order to get the actual physical benefits and give yourself some relief right now, to take advantage of your biology. And then to set in motion a chain of repercussions brought to life by the poem Smile a While, founded on the idea that smiles and laughter are contagious. Both of these will ease a current situation at work, inside yourself and outside yourself. What we're looking at now is what you found when you tried this. Did you try out fake it till you make it? And specifically, we're going to look at any resistance you had to this idea, whether it was smiling when you don't feel like it, greeting someone you don't really like at work, or laughing out loud to yourself in the car. What did your attempts bring up for you? What did you think when I suggested it? What did you feel? Some comments from clients who have done this work with me already are, I feel stupid, it feels inauthentic, it's embarrassing. So what other thoughts did it bring up for you? Or thoughts about me? Judgments of what I'm doing here on this podcast, thoughts about coaching and what it might involve, and thoughts about whether you could even be bothered to do this practical work that does require some effort and some discomfort. And what do you think now of personal work, of self-development in light of this? All these thoughts, assessments, opinions, and feelings you have are valid, absolutely, even if you hate the idea of this smiling or laughing on purpose. I want you to be aware of them, to hold them as we go through today's work. This is the first time we are addressing our self-coaching at such a deep level, the transformational level. It might seem strange right now. We're just dipping our toe into it, and we'll come back to it later on in the Happiness Matters coaching journey that we're on together. I wanted to go into this in these next few insight sessions because this will bring us very quickly to a clear view of your transformational coaching topic. Getting to grips with your goal of coaching, what will make the most difference to your happiness and success at work, is what our Series 1, Defining, Assessing, Visioning Coaching, is all about. It's at this point that I want to talk about curiosity in coaching and why we want to be as curious as we possibly can when we learn to coach ourselves. As curious as a magpie, or even as curious as a fish. This curiosity is something that Buddha Siddhartha Gautama spoke about while explaining to people about his explorations into meditation, attachment, and enlightenment. He urged those who listened to him to not just take his word for everything, but to keep an open mind, to try out ideas for yourself and see what it brings you, and then decide if you want to take it on board and keep using it. The original Kalama Sutta that gives this advice has been misquoted and misinterpreted, but in the original text he outlines 2 criteria for acceptance of any teachings. The first is, but after observation and analysis, when you find that anything agrees with reason and is conducive to the good and benefit of one and all, then accept it and live up to it. The second is, when you know for yourselves that these qualities are skillful, these qualities are blameless, these qualities are praised by the wise, these qualities, when adopted and carried out, lead to welfare and to happiness, then you should enter and remain in them. This curious, experimental mindset is exactly how I encourage you to work any of the coaching tools that I offer you here in Happiness Matters. Put your judgments and opinions aside for a while. Give it a try, see what it brings you, and then decide on what you think about it and if it's useful to you. This is aligned to the very popular topic of management discussions, the growth mindset. Growth mindset is a term coined by Stanford University psychologist Carole Dweck, used to describe the underlying beliefs or self-perceptions we have about ourselves, our ability to learn, and our levels of intelligence. She says, individuals who believe their talents can be developed through hard work, good strategies, and input from others have a growth mindset. They tend to achieve more than those with a more fixed mindset, those who believe their talents are innate gifts. Dweck warns not to confuse a growth mindset with being flexible or open-minded or with having a positive outlook, as qualities you believe you've simply always had. This is a false growth mindset. Everyone is actually a mixture of fixed and growth mindsets, and that mixture continually evolves with experience. I've put 2 of her YouTube talks on a playlist for you. The link is in the show notes for this episode 1.12. Building onto this, she talks about the power of yet. She promotes the idea that everyone is on an individual learning curve and can continually improve and develop to achieve things in the future that they cannot yet accomplish. The attributes associated with our growth mindset include resilience, optimism, determination and grit, collaboration, perseverance, and creativity. You're more willing to embrace challenges and want to learn from them, to step out of your typical comfort zone, which is exactly what I hope you'll be doing throughout our coaching together. And let's be honest, this is not exactly easy. We all have our own fixed mindset triggers. When we face challenges, receive criticism, or fare poorly compared with others, we can easily fall into insecurity or defensiveness. A response, she says, that inhibits our growth and halts our progress in our happy and successful at work, no matter what. So with Buddha and Carole Dweck's suggestions, can you be curious? Can you be open? And can you suspend your opinions just for now while we tackle these big coaching topics? Especially as we examine what you experienced when I suggested smiling and laughing on purpose. We're now going to look at what comes up from this work as it involves the relationship you have with yourself. I will explain more what I mean about this relationship with yourself in next week's episode. For now, let's get started with our new coaching tool. So the tool I'm introducing you to here is called mirror work, and we are combining it with our previous episodes on smiling, smizing, and laughing. So what is mirror work? Well, it's not the mirror work that you see on clothing, that gorgeous style of embroidery that you find on many clothes that you buy from India. This is actually known as Sheesha embroidery, an art form where tiny mirrors are sewn onto fabric that originated in Iran in the 1600s. So beautiful. Just have a search for Sheesha mirror work on Pinterest. No, mirror work is something that originated with Socrates, the ancient Greek philosopher who we consider to be one of the founders of Western philosophy, and teacher of Aristotle, who we met right at the start of our coaching together. Socrates considered mirror work as necessary to aid moral meditation between man and himself. He urged the young men who studied under him to look at themselves in mirrors, so that, if they were beautiful, they would become worthy of their beauty, and if they were ugly, they would know how to hide their disgrace through learning. So the mirror was a tool used to know thyself, one of the ancient Greeks' aphorisms inscribed on the temple of Apollo at Delphi. It invites man not to mistake himself for God, to avoid pride by knowing his limits, and to improve himself. So Socrates used the mirror as an active tool of transformation, which is pretty much what we're doing here in today's coaching. Of course, in Socrates' time, they didn't even have the kind of mirrors or looking glasses that we know so well and have around us all the time these days. The earliest mirrors were pieces of polished stones such as obsidian, a black volcanic glass. Some of these have been found in Turkey dating back to 6000 BC. Socrates and his followers would not even have been looking at the early crude mirrors of blown glass coated with molten lead or backed with gold leaf, as these only appeared about 300 years later. So many interesting facts about the history of mirrors and ancient industrial espionage. I'll post them on Facebook for a bit of fun with this episode. Socrates' mirror work has been brought to life and expanded by Louise Hay, American author of You Can Heal Your Life, who is most well known for her belief in the transformational power of thought. Hay built on the Greek principle of know thyself with this mirror work, teaching that the mirror reflects back to you the thoughts and feelings you have about yourself. So looking in the mirror at yourself makes you more aware of what you are thinking about yourself, all those thoughts that make up your relationship with yourself. The mirror reflects back to you these feelings and thoughts, and in doing so, shows you what thoughts you might want to change, the thoughts that are not serving you, the feelings that don't feel so good in your happiness and success. So let's try this. Let's try some mirror work and see what happens. I've created a free download for you that you can get from our website, Happiness-Matters.coach, with all the instructions. Basically, it's about looking at yourself in the mirror for 5 to 10 minutes and noticing what thoughts and feelings come up. You can do this as you brush your teeth or get dressed in the morning. Stop and look at yourself in the eyes. Stare at yourself and hold eye contact. What happens? Do you notice any thoughts? What are you saying to yourself? Now, try take it one step even further. Smile at yourself and see what happens. What thoughts and what feelings come up? Now try smizing at yourself. Smizing being that Duchenne smile, your genuine, authentic smile that reaches your eyes. And we spoke about this in episode 1.10. And now, how about laughing at yourself? Fake a real Father Christmas, ha ha ha, and ho ho ho, and see what happens. And while you do it, check in with yourself. Where are you on your happiness ladder? How does this change when you smile at yourself, smize at yourself, and laugh at your reflection? Remember what I said about being as curious as a fish. Stay curious, stay in your growth mindset. Why not write down some of the things you said to yourself, the thoughts you had? And why not do the mirror work again tomorrow and the next day to see what other thoughts and feelings come up? I'm going to leave you now for this session, as I want you to absorb yourself in the work we've discussed today, and we'll pick this up again in the next episode. If you do want to start coaching with me, please join us in our Facebook coaching group. You'll find this at Happiness-Matters.coach. Then, as I said earlier, you can book a one-off session to coach with me individually or talk to me about a longer coaching program. Go to Coach with Julia on our website, also Happiness-Matters.coach. There really is no better time to do this work together. Before we go for our upcoming Q&A episode, please send your questions to me on our website, Happiness-Matters.coach/askjulia. Bye for now. It's early spring here, and I'm off to see if it's warm enough to swim in the sea yet.
Thanks for joining us on this Happiness Matters podcast. Do join us again here next week on Tuesday. You can subscribe to this series at Apple Podcasts on iTunes, or you can sign up for it on our website, Happiness-Matters.coach. That's Happiness-Matters.coach. COACH. Also, you can join our conversation on Facebook by following us there. Our Facebook page is also Happiness-Matters.coach.